All right, so let's jump into part 2 now of the connecting bar video. And what we're going to focus on in part 2 is drawing the top view. And the top view, the difficulty with the top view is that there are many foreshortened surfaces and features, namely these 4 holes and this rounded slot. And that's going to present a bit of a problem. Or challenge to us, I should say. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, one of the things that we can do to kind of help us out is we can identify the area that is not going to be foreshortened or altered in any way, and draw that first. And that's the center section here, right? Because the center surfaces here, the surfaces in the center of the object are all parallel to the plane of projection. So let me just draw this here so we can see. When we talk about a plane of projection, whoops, and let me turn on there we go. When we talk about a plane of projection, we're talking about that imaginary line that runs halfway between the views. So the plane of projection between the front view here and the top view here is this imaginary plane right there. And you can see right away that this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface, and this surface are all parallel to that, which means that when we project these features through this to the top view, these are not going to be foreshortened. On the other hand, this surface and this surface and this surface and this surface in particular are not parallel to the plane of projection. So when we project these surfaces through to the top view, through the projection plane to the top view, they will be foreshortened. Okay, so there's the problem. All right, so I'm going to delete that because we don't usually want to draw with that up there. And again, the drawing setup in the book recommends a 70 millimeter separation between the front and the top view. So hey, I'm going to use that. And let's do an offset of 70, and we'll offset that up there. And that's where we'll get started with that. The width of the square section right here is 62 millimeters. So I'm going to offset 62, and then we'll offset there. And then I'll just draw the rest of this shape like that. And then let's see, we'll offset, we'll go ahead and get the opening in here, offset 12, offset 38, a lot of offsets. Remember when I said at the beginning of class that offset is used a lot? Well, I wasn't lying. Let's clean this up. All right, so there's the center section. And we can also take care of this section and this section right here, projected up here, because again, these are parallel to the plane of projection. So that is 6, offset of 6 from here to here. And I'll just project this up here. And we'll extend that there, and then the width on here is 50, so we'll offset that, and then we can trim that out like so, and trim that out like so, and then this is the same over here. Actually, I probably didn't need to trim that, and that goes out. Let's just draw that out there. We'll project this across here. And we'll project this up. Boom, boom. And I'll trim that out. Okay. So there's the only bit of this that's not foreshortened. Okay. So now let's tackle the foreshortened parts. Okay. And again, this is where omitting the fillets and rounds really helps. So let's zoom in on see if I can get that in there. Yeah, kind of. Zoom in on the right-hand side. So this surface out here, where does it end? Well, it ends right there, right? Actually, it ends out there, but that's kind of the back of it. Let's do the top, okay? So we're going to focus on the top of this surface, which is going to be the top in the top view. And I'm going to project this line directly up, and I'll just shoot past like that. And then I can extend this line like that, and we can trim that off. All right, so there you go. All right, so that's the foreshortened view of this feature. Okay, now you can see in the back that actually, if we're looking down, I'll draw a line. If we're looking down this way on this object, we're going to see this back edge right there. All right. Now this is part of the stuff that's kind of hard to see when you're trying to draw this stuff. The foreshortened surfaces is catching all the areas. There we go. Okay. So this area right there, I'll hatch it. This area right there. Ooh, that's an ugly hatch. Let's do this one. Right there. That area that I just hatched is that surface right there. Okay. All right, now, how do we deal with the holes in that? Well, of course, the holes are not going to be circular. They're going to be elliptical. Okay, so let's first mark out the center where all these are. So I'm going to project a line from the center mark up here. We'll just go perpendicular to that, and a line from the center mark up here. And again, we'll just go perpendicular to that right there. Now, here's part of the knowledge and understanding that you need to have about orthographic drawing and auxiliary views. Dimensions in this direction are not foreshortened. They're not altered. They're not changed. They are true dimensions. Dimensions in this direction are foreshortened. So when I want to lay out the center of where these holes are, I projected these up, but I'm just going to offset these by the regular dimension, which is 12 and 26. So offset 12 and offset 26. Okay. So that little grid is where these holes are going to be positioned. So I'm going to do this hole right here. All right. And I'll try to get it in there so you can see. Okay. So again, we're going to project the top of the hole and the bottom of the hole right there. Okay. We know that this is the center of the hole, and I'm not going to change it to center line because I'll just have to change it back, but that's the center of the hole. The hole has a diameter of 14, so that means the radius is 7, which means, remember, dimensions in this direction are not foreshortened, so I can offset 7, half of 14, in this direction. And that creates our ellipse. Now, it doesn't really look like an ellipse, maybe, kind of, sort of, it's kind of not much of an ellipse, but I can show you with a center radius. The center goes here, and the radius goes there. Yeah, you can see it's not circular, right? Same thing over there, all right? So we go to the ellipse command, and you can use axis, end, or center. We got enough things here. It doesn't really matter. So I'll use center, and I pick this point right here. That's the center, and I come over here to the left, and I go up here, and there's our circle, or elliptical representation of the circle. Now, the good news about this is that once you've done one, because they're the same for the other three, you just got to copy it. So I'm going to clean this up. Because I don't need these extra lines in here. And I'm just going to use the copy command, copy, and I'll pick this. And I'm going to use as my base point the center there, and I'm going to copy it to there, into there, into there. Okay. And then there we go. Now, because these are full views, we need to show the back surface. Okay. So the back surface is just the same ellipse, but it shifted from the center being here to the center being here. Okay, so I only need to do this in one place. So I'm going to project this up right there. Okay. Now it gets a little confusing there. So we're going to have to pay attention when you copy these. But now watch. We're going to copy these. So I'll go to the copy command. I'm going to pick these 4 circles. And I'm going to copy it from the center here to the center right there. Notice I have to zoom in. You got to zoom in because otherwise they just run together and you don't know which one you're picking. So you got to zoom in and pick the projector right there. And then there we go. And we hit escape and there you go. Now, the problem with this is, so I said that was, I feel like I'm saying the problem with this a lot in this video. The problem with this is only part of this is hidden, right? So here, let's change this. Let's change these all to hidden. I'll show you a little trick for doing this. Let's change this all to hidden. Okay. Now, not all of this is hidden. In fact, this part of it is not hidden. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim and I'm going to pick these 4 visible ellipses as the boundary edges and I'm going to trim that back like so. Okay. So far so good. Let me do my LT scale down a little bit, make it a little bit easier to see. There we go. Okay. But so what happens from here to here? Well, it's a visible part of the ellipse. It's an elliptical arc that's visible. So here we have an elliptical arc that's hidden, and here it pops out and it's visible again through here. And if you think about it, what you're looking at when you're looking down, you're looking at the bottom edge of the hole. That's what you're seeing right there. I can show you in this right here. That's what we're trying to replicate. Okay. So let's go back up here. Now we have all the ingredients. We just got to do it. So, but to make things easy, so what happens is, well, let me just go ahead and do it and I'll show you. Let's go back to copy and let's copy these 4 again, right? Specify base point right here. And guess what? We're going to copy it to the same point right there, right? There we go. And guess what? It covered up the hidden lines. So if you're wondering, gee, Chuck, what the heck did that do? Why did you do that? That really didn't help. Well, let me show you this. All right. So now remember that there's a hidden elliptical arc underneath the visible. So I'm going to go to my layer control and I'm going to turn off my hidden. I'm going to freeze or thaw. I'm going to freeze, not thaw. I'm going to freeze or turn off my hidden layer. And now I'm going to go to trim. I'm going to pick these 4 ellipses and I'm going to trim this part away. So you see what we did? We trimmed one part away and then hid it, that layer. We trimmed one part away, put it on a layer. We hid that layer and then we trimmed the other part. And now we can go back and turn on that layer and bada bing, bada boom, there you go. All right. So that's how you do that. Oh, we can't forget the tangential lines. Yeah, there's tangential lines and they're hidden. So we don't have to do any weirdness there. So we just got to go. I feel like I've said this before in videos. I feel like sometimes I'm giving away the farm here because I'm showing you all the tricks. You still got to do it. All right. Notice I'm using object snap quadrant here. You still have to do it. So, I could opt to force you to figure it out yourself, but I feel like it's okay. You still have to do it, and this will help you to visualize what's correct. And that's the most important thing, is to understand and to visualize what's correct. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to leave these lines in here. And in fact, I'm going to change them to center lines, just because it's getting a little confusing in this area here. So I'll change those to center lines. There we go. Now, yeah, I know that these aren't the correct length for the center lines. So if I do this, I'll show you a trick on this. I'm showing you, you got to have a lot of tricks with this. So let me trim these back, right? Because they extend too far. Remember that the offset for this is supposed to be 6 millimeters, according to the, be careful in there, according to the CAD standard, right? Which you have a copy of, so don't tell me that you didn't know this. So I trim all those back. Now, I'm going to use I might have used this command before. I'm going to use the lengthen command because it's going to really, I could do it with grips. You've seen me do that before, but with the lengthen command allows me to kind of do it a little bit more in one shot. So I'll go to lengthen. We don't want to select the object to measure yet. We want to tell it how we want to lengthen, and we're going to use the delta option. So you type in DE and hit enter, and the delta option is how much we want to extend it, which in this case is 6 millimeters. So we type 6 and hit enter, and now we can just go along like so. Get it all goody. Perfect. There we go. Actually, you know what? Hold on, I'm wrong. It's not 6 millimeters. It's 2 millimeters. Let's go back on that and let's do that again. I guess you get lengthen twice now. Lengthen, delta, 2 millimeters. I'm sorry, 6 millimeters is for a different type of center line extension. I know some of you were probably listening to me say that the first time going, what is he talking about? Now, I am not going to put center marks for the hidden circles, the hidden ellipses back here. And there's a good reason that they're unnecessary. That would just be a confusing element, more confusing than we're already at. So that's why we're going to just keep our center lines on the top visible features, not the hidden features underneath. Okay. All right. So there you go. So now we're going to do the same thing with this surface, although we do have an elliptical representation there that we need to construct, and also here that we need to construct. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is project this line up here. So whoops, I'm on the wrong layer. So let's go over here. And we'll go up like this, and we'll project this up. And we'll extend that there. All right, so far so good. Now, I'm going to ignore these rounds on the end for right now and just deal with the slot. So the slot is centered, midpoint from here to here. How far does it go? Well, it goes back to the center there. So I'm going to project that center of the surface, and it goes back to right there. All right. Now, the diameter of the slot is 20, so that means I can offset this 10 from here to here, and I can construct my ellipse, and I'll do an axis end ellipse this time. So we go 1, 2, and 3, and then we can trim this out like so. We got to erase some stuff. And there's our slot. Let's erase that. And there we go. All right. Now, for dealing with this one, these outside curves, it gets a little, weird, because what we need to do is we need to find where that curve starts, and where the curve starts is right there. Where is that in the front view? Well, we project that back perpendicular to that, and now I'm going to project this up into this space. So we'll go right there. The radius on that is 12, so we're going to offset 12 from here to here. So remember, that doesn't change, but the ellipse does. So from right here to here. Now, we do have an elliptical arc. I don't like the elliptical arc. I find it confusing. So I'm just going to use center, ellipse center, center. There's one, and then there's the other. And of course, we only need a quadrant, the quadrant here. So we can get rid of that like so. Okay. There we go. Now, what happens up here? Well, the same thing, just a mirror image. So let me show you the mirror command. I'm not sure I've showed you the mirror command yet. I think we kind of used it on some of our practice work. But mirror, select the object, right? So I want to mirror that, hit enter. First point of the mirror line, well, it's the line bisecting the whole object. So right there to there. And then I don't want to remove the original. And there we go. Okay. All right, so that's that. Oops, let me put that back in there. Let me trim it right there. Okay. So now I'm going to, whoops, and I can get rid of this. I'm just going to clean up a bit. Now, I can lengthen again. So we'll do lengthen. Delta is 2 is still there. So that's going to be there and there and there. And then this is the lengthen 6 millimeters. So we go back to the lengthen command, delta 6. And we lengthen like that. And let's turn these into the center layer. There we go. And yeah, it's going to be hidden. There's going to be a hidden part. So let's find out where that is. The center of the hidden part is going to be right there. So we project, notice we project it up from the bottom surface and we project it up right. Right there is good. And then we're just going to copy the curve from the center here to the center there. Okay, now this becomes a hidden curve now. We can get rid of that. And then we're going to draw a hidden line. So let's change the layer to hidden. We're going to draw a hidden line from here to here and to here and from here to here. There we go. All right. So, and again, no center mark back there. Don't worry about the center mark not meeting. Fine. You know, we can't control all that. That's fine. So that's basically it. You know, I'm going to leave it to you to make sure the center mark, your center marks are correct here, right? And correct here. I will remind you that you need to have one. This is in all auxiliary views. Please pay attention to your CAD standards. The auxiliary view must be connected to the regular view from which it is projected with a center line or a visible line. All right. So in this case, a center line is appropriate. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to, I'll do this one. We're going to delete that and I'll stretch that. This is all you got to do is stretch it up like that. Whoop. Hey, what did I do? Sorry. There we go. Now, let's lengthen delta 2 and we go there. There. I guess I'm going to end up doing this one too, just to show you. There we go. And then this is going to be delta 6 millimeters, and we go like that. And then this becomes a center line. And then we do the same thing over here. So how would I do that? Well, I'd probably just grab this. Actually, I'd erase this, and I'd grab this, and I'd stretch it all the way over here, perpendicular to that. There we go. So now we have a center line in both cases connecting the auxiliary view with the view that it's projecting from. Okay? So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our two-part video concluded in showing you how to draw the connecting bar. I'm leaving, it's not 100% complete. I'm leaving the rest of this up to you. What do you need to do? You need to make sure your center marks are all in there nice. You know, I didn't do the center marks here. And you need to set it up at a scale of 1 to 1 on one of these, either the A3 or the A2 title block and border. Hint, hint, is probably going to be A3. But we want to set that up on a scale 1 to 1. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I know it was a lot to deal with. That's why we split it up into 2 videos. I'm fully confident that you can do it because the work up to this point has been really remarkably awesome. So I know y'all are trying really hard. Take your time on this. Make sure you rewind and go back and forth. You know, it's all there. The connecting bar, let's see, is this kind of the answer key. Oh, you'll notice here that I did do a break line like this, and I did leave this edge as a break line. Okay, and oh, this is not quite the answer key because I'm missing the center mark right there for that feature. Okay, so that's it. Please let me know if you have any questions. Remember that all of the auxiliary view assignments are due this Sunday. Okay, we're still on our 2-week kind of work rotation. The next assignment group will be section views, and that will be 2 weeks from Sunday, this coming up Sunday. All right, so we have until the end of this week, Sunday, to get the auxiliary views done. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.